Okay, for a video about the gang stalkers and what makes a gang stalker. These are the gang stalkers. Okay, so turn down the commentary from earlier. Okay, the gang stalker. On the first picture, what we're shown is what we're looking at here is going to be the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles represents a well-to-do person, somebody who's somebody who's popular within their circle. They're very popular within their circle. But you see, a successful gang stalker is normally picked up from a personality type, which is the narcissist. And a narcissist is a person who's a narcissist is normally a person who has a good facade on. They have a good facade on, you know, they're almost perfect. Almost too perfect, actually, because what they do is they've put a sort of like a magnifying glass on their own personality, and they've learned how to perfect it. They've learned how to perfect their personality. You know, they sort of appear to look like they have all their ducks in a row. But once you chip away and you look closely, I mean, we shouldn't have to do this, but such is their perfectionist attitude, is that you will raise your eyebrows at somebody who's too good to be true. You know, somebody who's they normally are very good at painting a sort of a character picture. And the commentary's gone off, so I'll be able to take over from here. Okay, so the two cards that we have here is the first card, the Pentacles, is the exterior of a narcissist. This is the personality that they want the people to see of them. This is how they portray themselves, or this is how they think people should portray themselves. What you turn to find out is, as you get to know them, is that this is actually an illusion. It's a collection of how they view the world, even, you see. So now you're looking into the magician on the right hand side, the guy who's who's conjuring up these cups. He's conjuring up these cups and he's adding these pieces to his personality. If he adds an exterior of you know, somebody who's well polished, somebody who comes across as very a personality that they've made up, basically. And it's not really, it's a view of how they view the world, how they believe the world actually is, you know. You see, because part of their personality, you could say a part of their personality is made up of the collective ego, the collective ego. I think that's what you could say. You could say it's made up of all the false selves of the world. Like, these are the false selves. You ever notice that so it's made up of the false selves rather than a real personality, because how they view the world, it's really how they view the world, and they have a strong belief that this is how people should be. But But the thing is, it gets very tiring once you're putting up a false mask. It gets very exhausting, and you to keep up with the facade or the lie or the because one thing about a narcissist is they'll never give you a straight answer. They'll never give you a straight answer, the truth. Everything is made up because everything is basically being read from a script that they think you want to hear. So for every person a narcissist knows, a narcissist could possibly have a different personality for every person they know, depending on how they view that person. But you don't want to take anything away from them because they are highly intelligent, which is the strange thing, which is like they're highly intelligent because they also contain within them all the different experiences of the ego, the collective ego. So they're very intelligent. They're extremely intelligent. I mean, these guys are like, they're the top of the class kind of student. Okay, so that's the exterior. Now, the Seven of Cups represents the interior, the inner workings, the inner pieces that make up their personality. This is what Jung would say would be the shadow part of them. Now, they're all shadow. They're all shadow for lack of another way. You could say that's what makes them vampiric, because a shadow relies on light. Without light, there would be no shadow. So that's what makes them be a vampiric entity inside. That's why they need somebody who they need to stand or be next to somebody who is generating that light. So, for instance, the moon wouldn't illuminate any light without the sun. The moon doesn't make its own light, so the moon is only has a reflection. It has a reflection. So likewise, these individuals are just reflections of the beings that they come across that have that sort of light. You know, the beings that seem to be self-generating the light, and they if once they stand next to this person, then automatically it glows and it shines a bit of light onto these individuals. So the inner workings of the narcissist is quite complex. It's not they're not they're very complicated. They're it's a very complex thing because they generate there's a mixture of different species inside of them, like not too they have different species inside of them, um representing here. We're going by what the card is showing us. So these narcissists are they're they're lunar beings. They're they're the children of the night, children of the children of the darkness. They're the vampires. They're proverbial vampire, the guys from Twilight. They're your Twilight people. These are they can they can they can live forever as long as they have a feeding source, a source of energy, a source of sunlight that will sustain them. They can keep going forever, and their genetic makeup is quite ancient as well. Because if you say that these narcissist people were made, if you say they were engineered, not made by God, but engineered by a scientist, a mad scientist. They were engineered. They contain different parts of different species. So they contain they contain a draconian, a very ancient being, but only part of it. They're not full draconian. They're not fully draconian. So the draconians, maybe when they landed onto the earth, they decided, okay, how can we adapt to live on earth with these earthlings? But the only thing is, these earthlings, they're not as intelligent as we are. But we like elements of them. We like how they look on the outside, not necessarily how they are. So maybe what they done is they kidnapped or decided to mix with the earthlings, with the early earthlings, and they added other parts to be able to adapt to living on the earth, because they're the earth people were slightly primitive compared to these ancient beings. These ancient beings have technology way ahead of what we're aware of. And this is how these modern day gang stalkers, they're able to carry out their surveillance and stuff. So yeah, no, this video is getting a bit long, but I just wanted to add a bit more information about these gang stalkers. Oh yeah, one more thing I wanted to say, that their exterior doesn't matter how they look. They could be a beautiful woman, a good-looking woman, but their inside is inverted for it to be a male figure. Or it's always it's the opposite. It's very subtle for you to see, but it's always the opposite. So the male exterior will have a female interior, and the female interior will have a male interior. That's something I need to do a bit of research on, but that's something that's becoming to stand out a little bit. It's raising it's a curious thing. It's a curious thing, and this also carries on to the children. The children, no matter how old they look, how young they are, they're not real children. It's the what we're getting from this is that it's the entity inside that that controls and makes up these narcissistic gang stalking individuals. Anyway, that will be it for now.